About to film the first podcast. Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. So today's actually really exciting because I'm filming the first episode of the podcast. I'm going to turn this light off and show you the setup right now. Hold on. So this is the setup. First of all, this stool is actually my dad's because I needed something to put the boom arm thing on. So yeah, it's like a makeshift podcast studio. But yeah, I'm gonna film this now. The first episode actually should be out by the time you're seeing this, so if you haven't seen it yet or checked it out, make sure to do that. And yeah, hope it goes well. Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of the Say Less podcast. I hope you enjoy. I hope they're watching. I hope the managers are watching. I don't know how people are still working there. Honestly, when I look at this person, I'm like, you're at a really sick point in your career. Like, how can you even feel like this? But when I started doing this, it was not normal. If you're gonna put your energy into anything, put it into the dream. Pick yourself up, man. I mean, in my cover letter and my CV, I speak about myself like I am the dog's bollock. This is so deep. Now thinking about it, I can't believe I'm actually filming this podcast. Like, a little sick. Live your best life. Live your best as to life. I feel like I've spoken a lot. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if that was good advice. So I just finished filming the first episode. I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning, I was so, not nervous, but I was just like so shaky. And I felt like I was talking at a million miles an hour. But like, once I got into it, I was feeling it. Like, I was just like going with the flow, man. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. If you've seen it, if you haven't, I'll link it below. And yeah, I'm excited for this. Also, I've said it in the podcast, but there is an email address. It's saylesswithalisha at gmail.com, and you can basically send in your dilemmas about being in your 20s, relationships, career, anything basically, for me to use in future episodes, or just a message or any ideas you've got. Yeah, you can send us that email, or just go to Instagram and I'll put out some posts on there. But yeah, I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. Also, this is the Father's Day card I got for my dad. Happy Father's Day, Baldy. I'm so easily amused.
Get out of my face!
Just making some beats.
Just producing a track. No one cares except you.
BTS. BTS. BTS.
Get off me!
This is like fun.
Don't touch.
This would help if I had a screen this big. You got a spare one?
Nope, this was like £600.
You've got a microphone set up.
Yes, I know. Enjoy your curry, did
What's
you?
that notification noise?
What?
Do you have a folder for me?
Well, yeah, because all your bullshit's in one place. You dancing? You driving?
Like yoga.
You driving?
I'm going to look. Look at me in the screen.
Alisha, that's not anything special.
Sorry. What's this? So you could have literally just given me this whole thing for my podcast. Hi guys, welcome to the Say Less podcast. Hey, what's this brick for? What are these bricks? What?
Protection.
Right.
No, 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 no.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Stick to the stuff you know.
I couldn't if I tried.
If you want stuff you know.
Aaron, look at it. Oh!
How long is it? 10 seconds?
It's gonna start fading that. It's gonna start fading that.
Don't act like you know what you do. Keep doing that.
It's really fun for me. Huma look at apple water. Where's that from? Well, it's been quite a week. Let's catch up. Oh god. Okay, so obviously I haven't actually picked up the camera in a few days, and there's good reason for it. Nothing major's happened, but what did happen, it needs documenting, and also is a way bigger deal than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. The vlog this week is probably a mess, but I'm so sorry this week was a mess. So yeah, let's get into it. So I basically went for a job interview yesterday. This wasn't like for an amazing job or anything, it was just for a job that was basically for the meantime. I mean, it seemed perfect for what I was looking for right now. It was the hours, guys, the hours, and it still hurts me right now that I didn't take it, but there's a reason I didn't take it. Yeah, the hours were perfect. It was 9:30 till 2:30 every day, 5 hours a day. Anyways, yeah, it said there would be calls involved, but it mainly just said case management. So it was like advertisers, you design your own day, you're just given the cases to sort through and you just phone whoever you need to phone, but it's not like a, you know, call center job. So I thought, anyways, oh my god, you can't make this shit up. So going for the interview yesterday, and also bearing in mind when I got the call from the woman, initially, like as soon as I got the call, bad vibes. Bad vibes. Thinking about it now, bad vibes from as soon as I got the call. But yeah, we did like a little phone interview and I was telling her about my last job and she was like, wow, that sounds shit. And I was like, sis, it was. This was in Coventry too, so it was local. It wouldn't have taken long to get to every day. And guys, can I just stress, 9:30 till 2:30 every day, it was perfect. Anyways, I go in my mind, I basically had the job because it wasn't, you know, there was nothing that I couldn't do. Not to sound arrogant, but that really wasn't. Like, you know when you're qualified for a job. I went in and sat down, there was another girl there and we were just chatting. And then the guy, obviously, who was introducing himself and stuff, came up to us. And he was like, oh, thank you so much for coming, blah, blah, blah. There was supposed to be 10 of you that showed up today, but only 2 did. Red flag number 1. Number 2, actually, because I already had a bad vibe. Red flag number 2, 8 people had already got a bad vibe and not showed up. That's number 1. Number 2, I mean, I can't even talk. So yeah, me and the girl looked at each other like, oh my god, what is about to happen? Anyways, I didn't think too much of it. I was trying to have like a positive mindset because I knew in my heart of hearts this wasn't going to be my forever job. It's just the perfect kind of thing for now. Anyways, we go in, have like a little tour, go into this room to do a maths and literacy test. And then another girl showed up because she was late. And then we sat down to do the test. This isn't funny, this is just so, like, now I'm thinking about it, the signs were all, sis, the signs were all there. We had half an hour to do the test. She got up 5 minutes in and went to the guy and said, thank you for your time, I've done it. And he was like, bitch, what? And he was like, oh, okay, do you want to sit down? We've got to do the one-on-one interviews. And she was like, no, you don't understand, I'm done, I don't want to go any further. And guys, the anxiety and like worry in her voice, I don't know if it was the actual test itself that stressed her out or whatever, but obviously I hope she's okay. I asked the guy if she was okay and he said that she just didn't want to go forward with it. Anyways, obviously she got a bad vibe and then it was just me and the other girl again and I was like, oh my god, what is going on? I just kept putting it down to it's a weird day, maybe it's just not for her. Anyways, so yeah, I finished my test, I go with one of the guys for the one-on-one interview. Okay, so this isn't like a bad thing, but it was just something that I found weird. This guy looked exactly like my cousin, like exactly like my cousin. And I like my cousin, he's a nice guy, but it's just something I found weird. And I was getting a bad vibe from this guy, not my cousin, the interviewer guy. Not a bad vibe, but I kind of felt like he wasn't even convinced about the job, and that's saying something. We go into the interview, he's asking me all these questions. Obviously, I've got really good experience in that kind of environment, so it was good. We were spitball. It was going good. We were vibing. And then this is where I think the turning point was. So at the end of the questions, he asked me, you know, what do you expect from an employer? Obviously, we've gone through what we expect from you, blah, blah, blah. And the first 2 things I said, obviously from a previous experience, and rightly so, was respect and honesty. I said that's all I expect and I will do my job well. And as soon as I said honesty, he looked at me like this look. He looked at me and was like, oh god, she knows, or she's about to know. So yeah, I said that and then he basically said, okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is a complaints department. And he was like, so basically every day you will be getting angry people on your phones and emails. And as soon as I heard that, first of all, if this guy ever sees this, I appreciate your honesty because I was about to take that job. Despite all the red flags I'd seen, I was about to take that job and I would have been starting on Monday. He was like, I'm going to be honest with you, you've done this kind of job before. And also we'd spoken about in the interview, he was like, what was the reason you left your last job? And I was straight up, I said, it just wasn't a good environment for me. Like, it wasn't the job itself so much. It definitely was the job itself. But because that was debt, and like what I thought was totally different to this, turns out it's quite similar. So yeah, he basically was straight up and said, you know, this is what the job entails. And also guys, I'm not saying that I'm better than this job or this job is not doable. It's just for some people who've had bad experiences with jobs. And yesterday really taught me how much my last job affected me, because it was like having PTSD from the job. And I'm not being dramatic, it literally was, because as soon as I walked into that same kind of environment, I immediately, like, my whole body was just like, no. My body was saying no. My body was saying no. So yeah, we talked about the job role a bit more, and I'd already basically made up my mind at that point. I mean, I hadn't made it up for definite, but I was just like, listen, if they offer me this job, it's about to be mad. Like, I was maybe considering trying it, but I was not happy about it. So as I said, he was really honest about it, and he had just basically started at the place too. I think they had basically a big staff turnover, which red flag number 5054. Big staff turnovers normally mean the job ain't it, or the management ain't it. Now, as I said, a job's a job, and sometimes you just need to do a job. But for me personally, and the horrific experience I had before, there's just some stuff that I just can't, I won't do it. I won't do it. So yeah, we basically finished up and I went home. I didn't really think much of it. Obviously the interview went well. I didn't feel anything, basically. Walked out, went home. Guys, I don't know if this is a red flag. Sometimes it might not be, but for me it was. They rang up not even an hour later saying that I got the job. And for me, like, obviously that is a good thing, but at the same time, I think it shows that maybe the company is really desperate for people, and perhaps a lot of people had just left, so they're pretty much gonna say yes to anyone, which is a bad sign, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, the woman called me and she was like, oh, we're really happy we can offer you the job, blah blah. She was like, yeah, would you like to accept it? And I said, there's just a few things I need to check over. What am I checking? I'll drop you an email later. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Gave me her email address. As soon as I put the phone down, again, these feelings came back where I was like, you can do this, like, you'll be able to handle it, but do you really want to go back there? Even though it's not as many hours, and even though you're in a better headspace now, and at that point I realised it had taken me since last September, leaving my last job, to fully, like, and I know it sounds dramatic, guys, but to fully recover. And I was just like, is it even worth risking, even though you're in such a better space? Is it even worth risking it? I basically had two options. I could either try it and just leave if I didn't like it, or just not even go there. And I chose to not even go there. I chose to not even put my energy into even trying it, because guys, the bad vibes, the feelings, the red flags I got, like, I couldn't ignore them. It's kind of like when people say when you've been in a toxic relationship, you'll then be really good at recognizing the red flags. It felt like this is a test from the universe. Like, you've got this job right there, everything you need right now is there, and you can have it, but do you really want it at the sacrifice of whatever could happen? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So yeah, I emailed back. I was nice about it. I didn't say anything rude, but I just basically said after the interview, it just didn't seem like the role was a good fit. And yeah, that was basically what happened yesterday. But something I didn't expect was for it to affect my mood so much, because I went through this whole thing where I felt like, how are you rejecting the job after so many people are looking for jobs? You've been looking for quite a while. Like, who do you think you are, kind of thing. And then I flipped it and I was like, listen, if there's one thing you want to keep straight, it's your mental health, and you are not about to fuck that up again. And yeah, basically that's what happened. It put me in such a bad mood, like, the whole day. I just felt, this is why I know that my last job affected me that much, because I felt drained from even going to the same sort of environment, and even thinking about putting myself in the same type of position. I hadn't even done the job yet. I'd gone to the interview, and it just took me back, and it took all the energy out of me, and I was just like, that's some real shit. That is some real shit, and I'm glad it happened, because there's just some jobs now that I'm not even going to apply for. So with jobs, guys, number one, pay attention to how you feel. Number two, try and get as much detail in the interview as you can, because normally they don't advertise what the job actually is, which in this case was true. And thankfully the guy was straight up with me about what the actual job was. And number three, as I said, I'm by no means saying that I'm better than this kind of job, but I know how I react to that environment, and due to a past experience, like for example, if my last job hadn't have happened, if I hadn't have had that experience, I would have probably been fine in this job. But because of what happened, I know that I cannot go back there. That's basically what's been happening. Sorry this vlog doesn't have much going on in it. I did not expect this to happen, but yeah, we moved, man. I think I'm gonna end it here because tomorrow, honestly, all I'm doing is filming the podcast and editing the podcast. I will see you in my next video. Make sure to check out the podcast tomorrow. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Pay attention to the red flags.